Faking Love with the Billionaire Enemy. Chapter 4. Caleb's Take on the Union. A week passed, and I finally felt ready to meet Caleb. Marcus and I had spent a lot of time over the past week getting acquainted with each other and polishing our act so there would be no place to poke holes of doubt. Henning was amused, but stayed out of our way the entire time. Marcus planned a brunch date for the three of us at his favorite restaurant to break the ice. "Listen," Marcus whispered as we walked up to the entrance of the restaurant. "We're in love, so lean close to me and remember to act like it." The restaurant was beautiful, the glass doors open to reveal a sophisticated, family-friendly atmosphere. Caleb had already been there for at least an hour, having the time of his life at the arcade. Once Marcus and I walked in through the doors, Caleb's attention was directed towards us by his nanny, who Marcus dismissed almost immediately. He ran towards us and hugged his father, then released himself from the warm embrace and looked up to study me. He was a very beautiful, bubbly boy, the splitting image of his father without all the nasty attitude and baggage. "Caleb, this is Zoya, my fiancée," Marcus started. "Hello, Caleb. I've heard so much about you," I said, extending my hand for a handshake. "Hi, Miss Zoya. You look pretty. It's a pleasure to finally meet you," Caleb replied, shaking my hand and looking me straight in the eye. "That's a very charming thing to say, Caleb." "Thank you very much," I replied. "That's how my father taught me to speak to women. It seems like he doesn't remember that when it comes to you," he said, panning his gaze towards Marcus. "It seems like you will have enough time to remind him," I replied, letting out a small chuckle and linking my arm with Marcus's. "Let's go to the dining area, I'm hungry," Marcus answered. "So, how did the both of you meet?" Caleb asked, turning to me. Marcus had ordered us a full English breakfast with pancakes and waffles on the side. The waiter had just arrived with our meal when Caleb asked. "Actually, we grew up together," I replied, replacing the eggs on my plate with the pancakes on Marcus. "Really? How come I've never heard anything like that before now?" Caleb asked. "Maybe because I was the one who got away," I replied, winking at Marcus. "What? What does that mean?" Caleb asked, puzzled. "We grew up together. But she moved away 10 years ago before I could make my move," Marcus replied, taking a sip of his coffee and looking at me. "You always say that, but you had all the time in the world to do it, and you never did," I responded. "I wasn't ready then," Marcus protested. "Aha," I mocked. "I'm not letting you slip away this time, though. You're all mine," Marcus replied. "Ahem. You're in the presence of a child, please." "Don't be weird, Dad," Caleb announced. His statement cleared any awkwardness in the air, and we all laughed at it. After my mom died, I grew quiet. I only spoke to my brother Henning. Your father hated that, so he always tried to make me talk to him and play with the others. At some point, he resorted to annoying me to get at least a reaction out of me, I said. "How didn't you know I was in love then?" Marcus asked. "You bullied me, Marcus, that wasn't love." "Caleb, please learn from your daddy's mistakes. If you like a girl, just walk up to her and tell her," I continued. "Hey, I was just a misguided kid," Marcus protested. "Of course you were," I replied, rolling my eyes. Caleb chuckled. "So if you moved away, how did the both of you get in touch again?" "It was, I think, a year ago. I ran into your dad one day, on my way back from work. He had no idea I would be there since I made my dad and brother swear they wouldn't tell a soul where I was headed when I moved." I glanced at Marcus and continued. It had been almost a decade since we had seen each other, so it was a pleasant surprise. He invited me for dinner the next night to catch up, and to his utmost surprise, I showed up. I replied, stretching my hand out over the table to squeeze his palm. He was surprised because, well, he was my bully, and I hated him. But a lot of time had passed, and I had gone to therapy, so I was open to forgiveness. We talked the night away, and he apologized for how he'd treated me as a child, and explained why he did what he did. I decided to forgive him, and he invited me out for dinner again. I guess the rest is history now, I ended. I see, so why wait till now to propose, Dad? What took you so long? Caleb asked. Well, I had to get her father's blessings. And he had to make sure I was good enough for his precious daughter. I had to become a better man to deserve her. That's what took me so long. Marcus replied, looking intently at me. And I had to be ready to meet you, Caleb. Your dad made me understand that you are the most important person in the world to him, so I had to be ready to at least make a decent impression. And I really hope I'm succeeding. I asked. We'll see, Caleb replied, placing his fork and knife on his empty dish. Thank you for the meal, Dad. If you will excuse me, I'll like to use the bathroom, he continued. You are excused, Marcus answered. Thank you, I'll be back soon, Caleb replied, getting up from his seat and walking away. He's such a perfect little boy, I said, watching him walk away. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Marcus replied, smirking. In this case, the apple fell almost a mile away. He's nothing like you, I replied, rolling my eyes. Whatever. I work hard to give him a life very different from mine, Marcus replied, taking a sip from his glass. I hope you also make sure he knows how loved he is. None of that tough love nonsense, I said, my gaze falling on the arcade where some young children were playing with their father. I watched them intently, fond memories of my childhood flashing before me. I cast my gaze back on Marcus when the sly fingers of grief pried my mind back from the past. He had been watching me intently and noticed the shift in my mood. What is wrong, Zoya? He asked. Nothing. It's nothing, I replied, taking a sip of water to push the bile back. I couldn't let myself cry here today. I'm okay. I promise, I assured myself, trying to convince myself. Lying doesn't suit you, Miss Zoya, Caleb said. I was so absorbed in the moment that I hadn't noticed him come back. You look different from a few minutes ago when I left. It's obvious that something is wrong, Caleb observed. I'm all right, Caleb, Marcus, I said, looking from one to the other. Grief doesn't give a warning before showing up. And she loves a good party, I said, giving a sad smile. She lost her father recently, Caleb, Marcus said. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Zoya, Caleb responded. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, I replied, blinking back my tears. I wasn't going to cry here. I asked Caleb about school and his hobbies, and he happily talked about them. He was interested in painting, art, and football. He also enjoyed reading history, books, and other forms of literature. He seemed to really enjoy his time at school, and was an intelligent and interesting little boy. I caught glances of Marcus looking at him lovingly, and watching him speak with so much pride. His love for him was unmistakable. He caught my eye, and looked away shyly. It was so funny to observe him unguarded. Miss Zoya, Caleb called, dragging my attention back to him when my mind wandered away. You seem to be genuine, and I like that about you. My father may have told you about his previous experience with love, aka my mother, and how that may have affected our lives. So, if you choose to join us, I will hold you personally responsible for any pain you cause him, so please proceed with caution. Caleb, Marcus cautioned. So I take it that I passed your test? I asked. For now, Caleb replied. That's good enough for me. Thank you, Caleb. Now that the both of you are done, it's time for us to leave. Caleb, your nanny is waiting outside to take you home. I gotta drop Zoya off at home, Marcus announced, getting up to usher us out. All right, Dad. I'll see you when you get back, Caleb replied. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you today, Caleb. I look forward to spending more time together, I said, watching Marcus clarify his instructions to the nanny. I would like that. Thank you for joining us today, Caleb replied, closing the car door behind him. Marcus and I waved till the car was completely out of sight. I'm exhausted, I said, sinking into the passenger seat of the car. You did good today, Marcus replied, absent-mindedly adjusting the seat to make me more comfortable. Oh, thank you, I said, a bit surprised. Oh yeah. You're welcome, he replied awkwardly. I mean for adjusting the seat, Marcus. Thank you. Oh, that too. The ride home was silent, and I drifted off to sleep at some point. A full belly does that to you. I woke up to Marcus carrying me into the house. I immediately went into a frenzy. Marcus? What are you doing? I screamed. I couldn't wake you. Careful so I don't drop you, Zoya, he replied calmly. What do you mean you couldn't wake me? Put me down right now. I protested. First, I do not take orders from anyone, especially not you. Secondly, I physically could not wake you. You passed out, he replied, plopping me on the couch below him. Now, I'm going home. I will call you when I need to. See you around, Zoya, and don't forget to put your ring on, he said and walked away. Such a confusing man, I muttered to myself and went to my room.